Coming up on Oakdale Update, we'll chat with Mayor Carm Serac about his 24 years in office and 16 of that as mayor. And we'll learn about the Code Reminder of the Month, which is about the feeding of wildlife in the city. Stay tuned. Oakdale Update is straight ahead. Hello, and welcome to Oakdale Update. I'm your host, Frank Orsello. This is the City of Oakdale's news and information program about your community. Carm Serac was elected as the mayor of Oakdale in 1999 and has served the city in that role ever since. He has decided not to run for re-election this fall. Mayor Serac is here in the studio with me today. Mayor, nice to have you with us on Oakdale Update. For the last time, I might add, huh?
Right. Thank you, Frank.
Unless you choose to run for another office, you think, is that in the offing at all?
You never say never, but at this point, no.
Okay. All right, tell me about yourself a little bit, your family and your business, that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I'm married to my wife, Luann, for 44 years. We have 2 kids, 6 grandchildren, and I'm American Family Insurance Agent. I've been with American Family for 37 years, so it's been great.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now, I mentioned there you've been between mayor and council for 24 years. Boy, that seems like an awful long time, doesn't it?
Well, it actually went pretty quick.
Did it really?
Yeah, it's amazing how fast time flies. You know, I mean, I just learned so much. It was a great run, and really enjoyed it.
Good. Okay, now, when you first moved to Oakdale, and I think that was in the 80s, is that correct? Mm-hmm. What was it like out here? I mean, as the terrain? I mean, there was cornfields and that sort of thing?
A lot of farmland. There was hardly any commercial, industrial in the city. We had maybe 1 or 2 restaurants. We had a Burger King, and that was about it.
Yes.
And the rest was all housing. So we were pretty much a bedroom community at that point.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay, so then you first of all ran for city council. What prompted you to do that way back then? And what year would that be about?
That would be 1990.
90, okay.
Yeah. And the mayor of Oakdale at that time, Leo Odella, lived down the block from me, and asked me if I wanted to run for mayor. And I said, "Are you nuts? You know, I don't know enough about the city to do that."
Sure.
And so he said, "Run for council." And he said, "All you have to do is make common sense decisions. That's really the basic part of it." And so I said, "Oh, I'll try it and see how it goes." And the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. Now, getting back to Mayor Odella, I remember him well. He was the first mayor, do I dare say this, that started getting Oakdale put together. Is that correct? Remember, just before that, we were known as Jokedale, and there was some bad things happening. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Before that, the city did have a bad reputation. It was, known as Jokedale, and there was a lot of infighting and what directions to go, and pretty much starting with Leo, we started the housing. He started the housing projects in the city, but when I got on the council, there really wasn't any direction for commercial industrial, which could keep the city sustainable and improve the parks and this and that. And so we knew we had to figure out a direction first off. We had to get everybody on the same page, work towards the same direction. We knew we had to hire the right people for the jobs to get that done. And that was our main goal.
Now, who was on the council at that time? Do you remember?
Oh, boy, it was Pat O'Hara, Marv Merle, Bill Lee, myself, right. Ted Berth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we had a set direction on.
How did Leo Odella? Why did He came from North St. Paul, did he? He was active over there or something?
Right. I think he was on the council or mayor
I think
there.
so, yeah.
And
So
then,
he had some experience when he came
right.
in.
And then he came to Oakdale, and then he moved to Chisago City.
Way after.
Yeah, well, that's why he didn't run for mayor again.
Yeah. But he had some experience, and I think that's what we needed at that time. Because didn't we have just some local people that were taking over as mayors for quite a few years?
Right.
And that's why we had so many problems. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So he got us going then. It was, he was the right man at the right time. Okay, so you had a very good run as mayor, and I mean, there's all kinds of things what do you attribute it all to?
Well, probably pretty much staff and the citizens and the people around you. People around you are going to make you look good or bad. You know, it comes down to that. You have to have the right people around you. You have to have people smarter than you are around you to make sure everything goes right.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And the citizens, you know, they've been so great. I really haven't had a lot of problem because everybody's on the same direction.
You know, it's interesting now how the citizens, I don't ever remember reading or hearing, and of course I'm semi-involved in the city government, never hear about people so angry at the city council or the mayor, and you know, I'm going to call them up and give them heck. You don't get that. You didn't get that much, did you?
Very, very little of that. You know, I count on my one hand how many people, you know, were really upset enough to cause a big commotion. But over the 24 years, especially the last 16 there, very little.
That's really good, isn't it? I mean, that's a
Yeah.
mark of a good community. Do you remember any particular council meetings or where people were packed to the gills and falling out the door of the chamber?
Oh, we had a few of them.
Have you?
Yeah, we had a few of them. None lately, but in the early beginning when I got on the council, my first council meeting, we didn't have the new council chambers. It was in the old part of the building
Yes.
where the city administrator's office was upstairs, and we had a development issue, and it was the very first meeting I had, and it was packed.
Yeah.
They couldn't even fit in the room. They were down the staircase
Yeah.
and downstairs, and felt like about 100 degrees in there. I was just sweating. I came home and I said, boy, I don't know if I'm going to survive this.
And that was at the old hut, right?
No, that was at the new building, but
Oh.
it was just half the building.
Oh, and we were going to add on to it then.
Yeah,
That's
before
right.
the addition.
Oh, my God. I remember that. Okay, so I'm going to mention, I don't want to, Craig Waldron, how much influence did he have on the development of Oakdale?
He had a tremendous amount of influence. That's one of the things that when I got on the council and the rest of the council agreed that we needed to get somebody strong in economic development as our city administrator, because we had all this commercial land. We just annexed all that acreage from Lake Elmo, and we needed somebody in there that knew how to put deals together. And he had the experience from Roseville, where he is a city planner there, and the Rosedale Mall. And so we got him on board, and from there, you know, we knew we had the right person, and we could
Sure.
develop commercial industrial.
And that was about the best move we ever could have made, wasn't it? I mean, wasn't
Oh,
it just-
absolutely, yeah. It's just a prime example that you have to have the right people in the right
Sure.
places.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right, now I'm going to mention a couple of the big developments that happened in Oakdale, and I'd like you to just give us some background on them more than anything, okay? Let's start with the Oak Marsh Golf Course.
Okay, the Oak Marsh Golf Course, what happened, that's part of the Lake Elmo land that was annexed to Oakdale. And before all the developers came rushing in, we knew we wanted a public golf course. So what happened was we finally hooked up with Wendell Penninger, who, you know, is the owner of the golf operation. Oakdale owns all the land where the golf course is. We still own all that land. He owns the golf operation, so it was a public-private partnership that worked out really well for us because then we didn't have to be involved in the everyday operation of the golf
Sure.
course. So that's a little history on the golf course, and like I said, we still own all that acreage.
That's been one of the prides of Oakdale, isn't it? That area, including those nice houses around there,
The
too?
whole area there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to mention another thing. The Oakdale Fire Department, the buildings, and we have now we have two full-timers, and now I think we're going to get more, but tell us about that. What and why?
Okay, what happened was we had one fire station up north, which was a very old fire station. That was the original fire station for Oakdale. Down south, we were actually on Maplewood's East County line. Then Maplewood decided that they were going to do their own fire department thing, and so we had to make a quick decision to make one Oakdale Fire Department. So what we did is we took our equipment, put it in Public Works, staffed our south fire station out of Public Works, and figured out a way to build that south fire station right away. Once we got that accomplished, we knew we had to replace the north fire station. So we figured out a way to pay for building that north fire station. So now we have one on the north, one on the south. What we've found over the years, though, is trying to get volunteer firefighters has become real difficult with the time invested that you have to make, time consuming, and people have family commitments, and it's become more and more difficult to do. So over the years, we've added full-time firefighters along with our volunteers, and we're going to add 2 more this year, full-time, for the protection of the city.
Okay, I think that's a wonderful idea. And I just want to mention that North Fire Department, it's got to be one of the most beautiful buildings. Isn't that just the neatest thing?
Yeah, when we did build that, we wanted to make sure that it was like a replica of an old fire
and
station.
it works so well. Do you get other cities interested or looking at the building?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do you
They're
really?
thinking of, we've had a number of cities look at that building when they're rebuilding theirs or building a new fire station.
Our local resident, Bob Stiglish, was very involved in that, wasn't he?
Yes, he was very much involved in both of them.
Yeah, and that's good. Oh, the North, every time I ride by it, I just marvel at it. Just
Yeah,
looks
it's a
like an
beautiful
old-time,
building.
wonderful building. Okay, so there's so many things that we could be talking about, but we're just have so much time. But I want to talk about the Red Oak Preserve up in the Red Oak Preserve up on off of 50th Street. Let's talk
Right.
about that one.
A little history on that. There was a mobile home park there. It was dilapidated, and the sewer system didn't work, and it was just a fire hazard up there. We had a number of mobile home fires up there, and it was a very difficult situation up there, a lot of crime. And so what we did is we redeveloped that whole area with the help of the HRA, Washington County HRA. And so we got rid of all the mobile homes, and then we put in housing, single-family housing, put in senior housing, put in rental, put in townhomes, put in affordable housing. So we combined all those aspects, and if you do get a chance to drive up north and see that project, it just turned out beautiful, just the way we planned it. And that it's hard to do. It doesn't happen a lot when you have that much going.
Yep.
But in this case, it was just the way it was planned out.
Yep. And that was HRA. No, who was?
Washington County.
Washington County was
Yeah,
involved in this
yeah.
too. And it worked well, didn't it? The two of you coordinated just nicely. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the things, and this is very important to the city's finances, is we've always had good Moody credit ratings. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, a lot of that, we have AAA or AA Moody credit rating, which really helps our bonding. When we go out to bond for road improvement projects, which we've done for 20 years now, we do so many miles of road a year, and that really helps in bonding those projects because we get a lower interest rate. And I attribute a lot of that to our finance director, Suzanne Warren. and also to the city councils over the years for being conservative with our budget and having a lot of money on hand.
Okay, well, let's talk about one more thing, the Tartan Ice Arena.
Yeah, the Tartan Ice Arena came about is that we needed another ice arena. We shared North St. Paul's, Tartan shared North St. Paul's Ice Arena, and you had Maplewood figure skating and everything else in there. And it just wasn't enough ice time to go around. So we met with North St. Paul School District, Maplewood and Oakdale, and finally, after many meetings, decided to, North St. Paul bowed out, so Maplewood School District and Oakdale decided to go ahead with this ice arena and to put it in at Tartan High School. And to do that, we had to get Mighty Duck funding. And to get Mighty Duck funding, we needed to build 2 arenas. So what we did is we built the regular arena, and we bought an old bubble from Inver Grove or Cottage Grove, one of them. Just an old beat-out bubble for our second ice arena so we could get the Mighty Duck funding. And that's how it all came about. And now we have a new bubble there and a beautiful arena. So everything.
Is it working well? Is it being rented? And I mean, is there?
Oh, absolutely. It's used all the time.
It is.
Yeah.
So financially, it's at least break even, if not.
Yeah,
money
and
maker?
actually the bonds, I think, are paid up this year, next year, where the arena's owned clear and free.
I want to get Well, one other thing I want to mention is the water treatment plant up by City Hall there. Tell us about that and why it was put there in the first place.
Okay, that was actually paid for by 3M. They've invested a lot of money in the city of Oakdale. They've paid for a few wells and the treatment plant and the cleanup. There used to be a dump site down near Menards there and hazardous waste. And 3M cleaned it all up. In fact, they went back in there working with the city of Oakdale. And as I've always said, I think we have the cleanest water in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that it was other communities around us wanted to sue 3M for the water that they think is polluted, and you refused to go get involved in that one.
Right. We felt it was important. I mean, 3M's done everything that we've asked of them and more. And you're dealing, I mean, we felt that 3M is so important to the state of Minnesota, especially to the eastern, side of the Twin Cities. You're talking about one of the biggest employers in the state of Minnesota. And they don't have to be here. They do not have to be here. And so they've done everything asked of them. I don't know why you'd sue them for any more.
And even then, I remember you telling me that it was something like a tablespoon of PCAs or whatever was in the water, like in a swimming pool, about the size of a swimming pool.
Yeah, it really, the amount that they found in the water really couldn't affect you anyway in the original, but now they put in the new wells and treatment plants, and like I said, have gone above and beyond.
Sure. Now I might personally mention that we moved out here in '71, and I was 2 blocks away from that dump down by Menards. Nobody that I know of ever got cancer, got anything, got sickness, or all the kids grew up and they're smart, sharp family people, and their kids are fine too. So I don't know. I think it's a lot of people, I think, just looking for a quick buck, maybe.
Yeah, you never know.
All right, let's, okay, one of the things when people think that as mayor or as council person, you're 2 times a month, you have meetings on every Tuesday at 7 o'clock and 7 to 8 to 9, and then you're done. But that's not true, is it?
No, we have workshops starting at 5 the night of the meetings. We have ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings, other events we have to be at, and committees and commissions, and so it's a lot more time consuming than you think it would be, and especially in the early years when we were trying to develop all our parks and get the city in the right direction. It was real time consuming, even more so back then.
Sure. And don't you have, like just even before a meeting, don't you have workshops and all
We
that
have
to
a
talk
2-hour
about what you're going to talk about, right?
We have a 2-hour workshop usually on what we're going to do, talk about the next meeting.
Yep.
And so, yeah, people don't realize we've already been there 2 hours
Yep.
before the meeting even starts.
That's right. That's right. In fact, I've been asked many times, just why don't you run for council? I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I mean, I don't have that kind of time. And I don't know, and that's interesting how, of course, you're self-employed, so you're a little bit more able to get away and get this done.
Right. It's a little more difficult if you had an 9 to 5 job where you had to be committed to your
Sure.
company.
Yeah.
It gets, where I have more
Flexibility.
flexibility
There, yeah,
in
absolutely.
that.
Now, the question is, why are you leaving? Why are you going to give it up?
Well, 24 years is a long time. I have 6 grandchildren now. I want to spend more time with them. 3 of them live in Texas, so we want to go down there. And it's just time, there's a time and place for everything in life. And I think it's just time to take a break. And,
Yep.
and there's a lot of good people that are running for council and mayor that can do a really good job.
Yep.
So.
They learned under the master, you and Craig Waldron. They all did. Whoever gets in, they've learned under the master.
Well, hopefully they have a good base to work with, and continue that, and I'm sure they will.
Yep. Now, your wife, is she going to say, who's a strange man that's at my house all this 7 days a week?
Well, I'm still doing the full-time insurance, so
Yeah,
I'll
but,
still
but
be working.
night times you're going to be home. You're
Right.
going to be bored, I think, for a little bit.
Well, it'll be hard to get used to at first. I'll
Absolutely.
probably watch the meetings on TV.
Yeah, at least. All right. Okay. We're just about out of time, but we got maybe a minute left. Do you want to make a statement to the city of Oakdale?
Yeah, I just
people?
want to thank the staff. I want to thank all the employees at the city. It's amazing how much they do for the city. I want to thank all the council members that I've served with. They've been great. And I want to thank the citizens mainly the most because they actually are the city. And they make it what it is. So thank you.
Okay. And if my one thought here is when I moved to Oakdale in '71, all these things were happening. It kept getting better and better and better. I just thought that's what cities did. I thought that's what they did. But now I know better. Between you and Craig Waldron, I mean, Oakdale is what it is today between you two. And you did a fine job.
Well, thank you, Frank. I appreciate that.
Okay. Well, congratulations on your retirement. And I hope everything goes well for you. And don't be a stranger, okay?
Well, I'll be around. I'll still be in the OBPA with my business. So I'm
Okay.
still around, only a phone call away.
Okay. Well, congratulations, and thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Frank.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Good work. It's almost time for a short break, but first, here's our trivia question. October is Fire Prevention Month in Oakdale. Throughout the month, firefighters visit schools, senior centers, and other facilities and provide tips on fire prevention. Our trivia question is, what should a person do if they ever catch on fire? Should they run as fast as they can to get help to put out the fire? Should they get to a phone and call 911 to put out the fire? Or should they stop, drop, and roll to put out the fire? We'll have the answer later in the show. It's time for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of Oakdale Update in just a minute.
Hey Minnesota, it's election year, so let's get ready to vote. mnvotes.org can help. First, check if you're registered to vote at your current address. If not, register to vote online. Then, check out your sample ballot and learn about the candidates and issues. Use the polling place finder to see where you vote. Or avoid the polling place by voting early, before Election Day. Request your absentee ballot online. Your vote starts at mnvotes.org.
Hi, I'm Joe Cullen, host of Northeast Journal here on GTN Channel 16. Every month on Northeast Journal, we give you an inside look at the people and places that make up the Northeast section of the Twin Cities. On this month's show, we're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Northeast Journal and the Government Television Network. We'll take a trip down memory lane with a look at some of our favorite memories from the last 20 years. So be sure to tune in to Northeast Journal right here on GTN Channel 16.
Welcome back to Oakdale Update. Last month we started a new segment on Oakdale Update where we'll give you a code enforcement reminder. This month we're talking about not feeding wildlife. Here are a few rules. It's okay to feed birds provided bird feeders are at least 5 feet above the ground, structure, or shoreline. Backyard feeding of wildlife gives us the feeling of intimacy with nature and help animals survive. But it's not always best for the animal. Thank you for not feeding wildlife. City ordinance prohibits the feeding of wildlife, such as deer, raccoons, turkey, geese, etc. For more information, call City Hall for a copy of this ordinance. Remember that Tuesday, November 4th is Election Day. Oakdale has races for mayor and city council. 3 candidates have filed for the mayoral position and 6 candidates are running for 2 council seats. You can find additional information about elections and voting, including a list of polling places on the city's website listed on the screen. We're just about out of time, but first let's answer a trivia question. We ask you, what should a person do if ever they catch on fire? The correct answer is stop, drop, and roll. If someone is on fire, the first thing they should do is stop, drop to the ground, and roll on the ground to smother the fire. Cover your face with your hands or arms to help protect it from the flames as you roll. If you see someone else on fire, use force if need be to get them to the ground to smother out the flames. You can use your coat, shirt, or similar type product to help smother the flames. Render appropriate first aid and call 911 as soon as the flames are out. That's all we have time for. For everyone at the City of Oakdale, thanks for watching.